Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to our YouTube live session. Is the Portuguese golden visa and the easy path to citizenship ending or perhaps changing? Did you know there are other ways to obtain a residence permit in Portugal besides investing the 500,000 euros in an investment fund? Interesting facts and statistics about Portugal, including official government stats, the most popular and unpopular programs, how the program has changed, and if your kids could study for cheap at a Portuguese university in an English taught program. Unedited, raw, uncensored, no helicopters, no special effects, and definitely no production crew. Just the facts you need to know without the fluff, just like the rest of our YouTube videos. Thank you for joining us today. Quick introduction if you don't know me, my name is Reza. I am the founder of INWÉ Immigration, your gateway to alternative residencies and citizenships. We have an active portfolio of over 20 countries and programs that we've shortlisted for professionals, entrepreneurs, investors, and families for their alternative residencies and citizenships. At INWÉ, we've successfully helped thousands of clients since 2018 from 55 different countries navigate these complex landscapes of investment and business residencies and citizenships. And that's what we do. We're very hands-on. We just don't make YouTube videos. We cover Europe, Central America, North Americas, the Caribbean islands, and even New Zealand and the Southwest Pacific Ocean region for the programs we're offering. Whether you're seeking fast-track residency, looking to invest in real estate abroad, aiming to retire comfortably, maybe enhance your quality of life, maybe work remotely, find crypto-friendly tax countries, or even acquire a direct citizenship without moving, whether it's for yourself, your future generations, or for your clients. We provide more than just visa assistance. It's not about that. It's way beyond that. It's the hand-holding. It's that point A to point B, the whole process, pre-arrival, post-landing, preparation, government communication, language barriers, cultural barriers, things that you don't read online, but you need to know when you're dealing with the various government residency departments. Our global partnerships and multilingual team, speaking over 10 languages, make sure you are supported throughout the whole process. Of course, you can engage with our office by clicking on our website, going to the Contact Us page, or even clicking on the links below this video. Anyways, let's get started, folks. Thanks for joining us. So the Golden Visa program, let's look at some statistics first. The Golden Visa program of Portugal has been a huge foreign direct investment channel for Portugal, attracting over 7.3 billion euros since 2023 and surpassing to 9.2 billion euros in the first year of 2025. You know what that means? That's crazy. It has granted residency to tens of thousands of main applicants and their families. The period under review that we've just discussed is huge. Portugal has exploded in terms of the number of applications, especially for the Golden Visa program. It is potentially the most popular Golden Visa program in all of Europe, maybe the world. And one of the key developments that happened was in October 2023 when the new regulations came in, removing real estate as a golden visa investment option. And this has shifted the landscape of investment through what we're seeing today in terms of investment funds. The applicant demographics have changed. So there's a huge increase now from the US and the United Kingdom, who now lead the application numbers in terms of the official government statistics. Previously, it was the Chinese investors, but now Americans and English have taken over as number one and number two. And we're going to look at these and figure out what's going on with more statistics. The program launched in 2012. So we are 13 years into this program. And it's been the most popular program. In the first quarter of this year, 2025, A total of 15,619 main applicants have been granted the golden visa, accompanied by about 24,983 dependent family members. Alternative sources, of course, when we look at these statistics, we have to keep in mind that, for example, in September 2023, over 12,780 main applicants and 20,000 dependent family members were included. But there are discrepancies in some of these statistics, but it gives you an idea, right? That this is a major source for Portugal and probably the most popular program. The economic contribution, you can figure it out. When you've been investing 7, 10, 9 billion euros or more, just in the first quarter of this year, 9.2 billion, that is the number one flow of foreign capital in Portugal. And this is important. In 2020, it was a huge drop, right? In 2021, we had 814 golden visas issued, accompanied by 1,092 dependent family members. And in 2022, that increased 1,281 golden visas. And look at those numbers compared to today. 2023, and that's when suddenly it started increasing significantly. In 2024, we had 2,415 main applicants apply. And the total investment in 2024 through the golden visa was 1.376 billion euros. And in 2025, we have 486 main applicants in the first quarter only. So if you can see, the numbers in 2020 were low because of COVID, but then after that, they increased significantly. What about, and we're going to include some tables and statistics in this article that we're posting on our website. What about the nationalities that we're talking about, right? So the Chinese were number one from 2012 to 2023. Why? It's because real estate was an option. And then after that, when end of 2023, the investment of real estate was removed, then the rest of the nationalities started. But back then, it was the Chinese, the Brazilians, and then the Americans, the Turks, and the South Africans. And the top nationalities in 2021 were China, US, Brazil, Russia, India. 2022, US, then China, then Brazil, India, South Africa. 2023, still US, China, UK, Brazil, then India. 2024, US, UK, Canada, India, and Brazil. And then first quarter 2025, this year, US, UK, Canada, India, and then Brazil, same as last year, all of last year. This is the current trend. And it's good to know who's applying, right? If you're looking to apply, are there others applying? So this has changed the demographics of the people who've applied since 2022, 2023 has significantly changed. The Chinese have taken a back seat and they've gone over to Greece. Everyone knows it. And there's been a huge influx of UK growth for Portuguese golden visa. Of course, the Canadians have seen a massive rise in their number of applications going for the golden visa in Portugal. And this is huge. Let's look at other statistics. And of course, we're not going to bore you to death today with these statistics, but investment funds. Back in the day when real estate was an option, investment funds were maybe 0.6% of all the golden visa options. And then fast forward, it became 29% in 2023. And then after that, when the real estate was removed, as of October 2023, when the law was changed, I'm trying to pronounce the law, it was May Habitação, something like that. I don't know, speak Portuguese, but by first quarter 2025, 78% of all golden visas were investment fund options because that was one of the most popular ones left. Real estate was removed. But let's look at some of the other options that were there. Cultural heritage contributions. So in 2025, there's only 850,000 euro investment in cultural heritage, but you only needed to invest 250,000 euros. So there was only what, like 4 cases perhaps. Scientific research contributions, 500,000 euros. And so far, we haven't seen any statistics of anyone doing that. Job creation is 10. We don't have statistics on these. The significant percentage of the cultural heritage investment is still pretty good compared to the fact that most people just do the investment funds, right? Of course, we're going to post all the stats on our website so you can look at these. And of course, there was a transition end of 2023 where the department CEF for the immigration in Portugal was converted to AIMA, and they went through a whole I don't know Portuguese, but it's Agência para Integração Migração, so Integration and Migration Agency, Asilo, which probably means asylum, AIMA, right? So they officially replaced the Serviço de Estrangeiro e Fronteira. Yeah, don't quote my Portuguese accent. No, don't listen to it. This was in October 20th. So they went through a whole digitization transformation, increased staffing, specialized departments just for the golden visa, process automations, putting online systems in. They had to modernize, and they improved the processing by 65%, reducing the backlog as of this year, first quarter 2025, just through these changes. And of course, they're actually looking to promote a tech startup funding option for the golden visa at a 350,000 euro option, maybe late 2025. That's what they're looking at. But again, it depends on a lot of factors, including politics. But let's look at what's happening with the elections. So yes, we have national elections, May 18th, 2025. So if you're watching this live, we're 3 days away. If you're watching this after it's posted, the results are in already. So this time, even parties historically supporting the program of the golden visa are signaling a shift. The Democratic Alliance, AD, has pledged to introduce stricter rules for the golden visa. At the same time, the Socialist Party, which has already removed the real estate investment route, may seek to even close the program altogether. We doubt it, but of course, it's political. It sounds fancy, maybe get some voters in. Both major parties agreed that the gold visa program needs reform. So more reform than they did before, but the proposals are different. So a longer path to citizenship. So basically the Democratic Alliance, AD, wants investors to qualify through a longer timeline, because Portugal right now has the easiest path to citizenship after Malta was shut down just literally 2 weeks ago. And Portugal golden visa only requires you to be in the country 35 days non-consecutively in 5 years before being eligible for citizenship, plus of course a language pathway. But the AD party wants to change that. Potential phase out. The Socialist Party is looking at phasing out the entire program. They already shut down the real estate 2 years ago, but they're thinking, hey, maybe we shouldn't even have a golden visa. I doubt that'll happen. Although no final decision has been made, all these are up for grabs at the elections this week. And now that the EU courts have shut down the Malta citizenship program remains the only one that does not require continuous physical presence and has very relaxed rules for citizenship in all of the EU, unless you want to learn Greek and go to Cyprus or Greece or Bulgaria, or learn Italian or learn Spanish. Those countries will require 7 to 10 years citizenship pathways. Portugal is the easiest one, and that may change. There's 2 possibilities. A majority government. Any new rules can be passed immediately this year by that party. Or a coalition government, which means major changes will take time, because both political sides of the aisle may not agree, and it will take them time to agree on something before it becomes law. Okay? So these are the key facts to know regarding the changes that are coming up. Now, let's look at some other interesting statistics or data or information that you may not have known about Portugal. Let's skip the politics. You can have your children study in English taught undergraduate and graduate based degree programs at Portuguese universities, and it's cheap. We've provided a table on this article that we're posting on our website with the universities that have English taught programs in Portugal. This is huge. If you're in the US and you're paying $80,000, $70,000 a year, you understand the pain points. English taught programs in the graduate level are majority in Lisbon and Porto, right? Obviously, that's the main metropolitan areas. That's where all these international students are. And with the undergraduate degrees, the majority of the English taught programs are focused on management, economics, and engineering, which is pretty good. Keep in mind, you're wondering what are the tuition rates? The definition of international student is a critical factor influencing admission processes. Typically, if you're non-EU national who has not legally resided in Portugal for more than 2 years, that means you're an international student. But students holding EU citizenship or residencies who've lived there for more than 2 years, they can receive the lower tuition rates, right? And those tuition rates can vary. They can be 3,500 euros a semester to 13,000 euros a year, roughly. It's really cheap, folks. We're talking about 10, 13,000 euros a year. How much are you paying for post-secondary education? Are you in Dubai? Are you in Saudi? Are you in the US? Where are you? If you're overpaying, then it's time to think about. We're posting a table on our website in this article that we're posting after this live stream with a list of potential programs and general admission information. Here's some other interesting facts and information about Portugal. Did you know there's other routes to the Portuguese Golden Visa? So it's not necessarily the investment fund that you have to invest in. There's other ways. Well, let's look at that. You have the supporting the arts, the cultural donation. It's 250,000 capital transfer to invest in an artistic production supporting the arts, preserving national heritage. You would need to do a pre-approval of the project before you invest, and you can even invest 200,000 euros instead of 250,000 euros if it's a low-density area. So let's say you don't want to do the 500,000 euro investment fund for Golden Visa. You could potentially take the cheaper route, but of course this is a donation, right? An investment is an investment. It's different. You can invest in a company, a capital transfer of 500,000 euros in share capital of a new or existing company. So, and that, of course, if it's a new company, there has to be job creation. Another one is creating 10 jobs. That's a whole different story. And then research and development, probably the least popular. 500,000 euros donation for research and development activities in public or private scientific research institutions of Portugal. And of course, you can even donate 400,000 euros if it's in a low density area. But what these are less popular, but we just have to let you know. But besides investment funds, those options are always also available for the Golden Visa to Portugal. But what are the other options? What if you don't want to invest 500,000 euros or 250,000 euros or 400,000 euros? Well, there's other ways. The D7 visa, passive income residency, is for individuals and families who have stable and sufficient passive income, meaning you don't need to go to work, you don't need to manage anything, you don't need to lift a finger to make that money. The income can come from sources like pension, manage rental income, manage intellectual property, and other eligible investment. Could be dividends, could be interest. Applicants must demonstrate that they have enough income to support themselves and their dependent members, so they don't need to work in Portugal, but they can get a residency. So a minimum income and sufficient funds is required, but you can get a residency permit. Remember, folks, everything in Portugal takes a year or more to get because just the processing of the backlog. The D2 visa, Well, that's entrepreneurial independent contractor visa. This is a visa suitable for entrepreneurs that want to start a business in Portugal. So again, that also leads to entrepreneur. There's no minimum investment, but it does require you to jump through a few hoops and go through certain entities. What about the D8, the digital nomad visa? It's for remote workers working for companies globally or clients, and they have proof of income, they have a track record of working remotely, they meet the minimum income requirements, and of course, evidence of tax residency and tax compliance in their home countries. And as long as they can support themselves, they can move to Portugal, have a residency, be there with their family, and continue to work remotely for their overseas employer. That also provides a residency permit, and of course, a family reunification visa. If your spouse or common law is a Portuguese citizen, or perhaps your children, then there is a way potentially of sponsorship for EU citizens to bring in their families. So that's the cheapest way to doing it, right? So basically, that's covering all the interesting things that you may not have known about Portugal. And that was the purpose of today's live session. Of course, we're posting more and more about Portugal, Europe, Italy, Spain when it hopefully reopens with the Spain Golden Visa. But remember, there's other routes to Spanish residency. Oh, hello, Leili Reza and Rosita. Folks, keep in mind, we're here every Thursday talking about, discussing, and presenting about interesting facts, program changes, policy changes, and diving deep into these different policies for residencies and citizenships. The facts are programs are changing because politics is changing, because public opinion is changing. And if you think it's easy or cheap now, well, wait for a couple years from now because you'll have less options, more expensive, and longer waiting times. At the end of the day, make sure you plan before applying. Do your research, and that's what we're here for. We've got a hands-on team speaking over 10 languages, helping your clients, your family, even yourself, in terms of guiding you through the right paths on what program to apply to. We have over 20 programs, and that's what we secure for you. Make sure you tune in to our live channel every week, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, North America. And of course, we post a lot of videos and other content on our YouTube channel as well and social media, talking about 20 different countries, whether it's Panama for the easy, fast track ROI on real estate, whether it's Dubai, whether it's New Zealand, whether it's US or Canada. All those options are available. Remember, folks, tune in, study, do your research. And if you need help, reach out. Happy to help. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. And remember, do your homework before applying. Take care, folks. There's more than one option in every country. Take care, folks.